500 cigarettes. Cigarettes.
Okay, final episode of... I can't lie, this season has really been fire. But enough of me yapping and let's tap in. So the episode starts off with the vulture mice coming to Earth, and as soon as they get off the ship, they start causing chaos. Buildings are getting destroyed, everyone is screaming trying to run away. Yeah, it's definitely looking bad out there. But turns out this was all in Mark's head. Nolan is like, Mark, you good? Shit, you don't need to worry, boy. We don't even know if Thragg is there. And Mark's like, Pops, where else would they be? Zoe then comes into the room trying to explain her strategy to Mark and Nolan, and she suggests blowing up the Earth. But these guys were not listening until they got word that Earth was up ahead. And she was like, what? You guys weren't listening to me?
No!
Nolan tries to come up with a plan, but Mark was not having it. He dips and goes to Earth, making sure everyone is safe. And when he gets there, he sees nothing out of the ordinary. Zoe and Nolan show up and they ask Mark if the vulture mites are here. Mark says, nah, they're not here. After this, Mark goes back to his house and hugs Debbie. She says she was worried about him, but realizes that Oliver's not there. She's like, huh? Where's Oliver? Mom, don't worry. He's on Telescria right now. He's getting the best treatment from the best doctors. Mark turns around and we see Thragg holding Debbie by the neck. Hold up, how did he know where Mark lived? Thragg then rips off Debbie's head and says, this is payback. But it turns out Mark was just having another episode. He tells Debbie that he's going to see Eve and that Nolan is outside waiting. As he leaves, Debbie sees Nolan and is like, what were you thinking? Oliver is injured and you left him on an alien planet? Nolan says, look, Debbie, he's not alone. He's getting healed up as we speak. And didn't I tell your ass is not welcome back here? Nolan tells Debbie that Mark and Oliver were low-key putting in that work during the war. She's about to leave, but Bro blocks her path and says, stop acting like you don't know me. I know you believe in second chances. Please give me a second chance, Debbie. But Debbie tells him to go kick rocks. We go to Mark hugging Eve and she says, I thought you were gone, Mark. They catch up and basically she says that her powers finally came back. We then cut to Tech Jacket waking her dad up, and he can't believe that she's still breathing. We then go to Cecil, and he's trying to go to the Flaxen Dimension to save Monster Girl and Rex. But something goes wrong. When the portal opens up, tentacles come out killing everyone. The tentacles grab Sinclair, but just before he gets sucked in, Donald disables the portal. Bro, I can't lie, Cecil is becoming a liability at this point. Mark's at school with his friends, but then we see everybody dead and Anissa choking the life out of William. But again, it turns out to be another episode. We go to the Coalition as Alan is talking to the representatives. They ask where the vulture mice are and they tell Alan that he has to smoke them. Alan is like, wait a minute, what about Mark, Nolan, and Oliver? Without them, we would have lost more people. It doesn't matter, they still gotta be exterminated. Alan was not trying to hear that. He says, hell no, I'm gonna find them and then I'll decide what I'm gonna do, and hangs up the call. We go to Debbie talking to Paul and she's going on and on worried about Oliver. Paul's like, Debbie, this is your life, just go and visit him. Then Debbie says, I'm glad we're still friends. Hold on, did they break up off screen? Mark is chilling talking with Eve, then out of nowhere we see Thragg holding Eve by the face. But it turns out Mark is having yet another episode. Bro, no way this man instilled this much fear into him. Even Conquest couldn't do that. But anyways, Eve tells Mark the reason why she lost her powers, and it was because she was pregnant, so she had to have an abortion. We go to Omni-Man at the mountain where he absolutely destroyed Mark. Cecil teleports there and is like, why are you here, Nolan? Hey, chill, I'm not gonna do anything, I swear. Man, ain't nobody scared of you. Look, I'm dead ass sorry for what I did, gang. And Cecil tells him, did you at least win the war? Nolan says, I mean, technically, there's still 40 vulture mites left though.
Are you serious right now, bro?
You can't be for real right now. Nolan tells Cecil that backup from the Coalition will take 2 weeks. He offers to stay on Earth to protect it, but Cecil's like, nah, get the off my planet. And he leaves. We go to Nolan talking with Mark, telling him that he's about to go to Telescria. But Debbie comes and she says she wants to tag along to see Oliver. Nolan is confused. He's like, huh? But what about Paul? And Debbie says, oh, we broke up months ago.
That's that real music, man.
After this, they get on the ship and make their way to Telescria. Mark is talking with Cecil and he says, you know, you and your dad basically just pissed off 40 Superman clones. Yeah, I know. Cecil's like, listen, just give Donald a report. But before he can say anything else, Thragg comes and impales him through the stomach. And he says, do you really think a puny nigga like this can stop me? But it turns out to be another trip. Bro, these genjutsus are getting out of hand. Mark says, Cecil, you think I could talk to someone? Now, Mark is sitting at home by himself and Eve comes to visit him. She sees him overthinking and says, Mark, maybe you need to fly so you can clear your head. And that's exactly what he does. Mark is flying around the globe enjoying the breeze. He then flies out of Earth's atmosphere looking down on the planet. He flies around some more until he sees Thragg posted up and he tells Mark, yup, we here now, boy.
No! Say you swear to fucking God, bro.
Mark goes for a punch, but Thragg eats it. He then tries to give a barrage of attacks, but Thragg was just toying with him. He then palms Mark's face and throws him away. Thragg's like, hey, I'm not here to fight you, boy. Then why are you here? Thragg says, look, there's only 37 Viltrumites left, so we're gonna use your planet to repopulate our ranks. But don't worry, we're trying to blend in. Thragg then offers Mark a truce. Basically, he says, don't bother us and we won't murk this entire planet. Mark hearing that is like, after the shit you did, do you really think I'll let you claim my planet? Mark clenches his fist and thinks about it some more and is like, fine, I agree to your terms. I mean, shit, this was the best option for him. Thragg hearing that leaves. Finally, we cut to Alan listening to Thaddeus' continuancy plans. He starts talking about the Scourge virus and how he released it on the Viltrumites long ago. As he finally says, if you're watching this, you gotta smoke all the Viltrumites. Alan gets up and starts walking towards the lab as we see the perfected Scourge virus.
There's no way out of this one. You're done.
But anyways, that's where I'm going to end the video. Give me some suggestions on what I should cover next. And let me know if y'all fuck with Invincible Season 4. And yeah, subscribe and I'll see you next time.